Hey, good morning, everyone. Tractorman 44 here. Hey, guys, it's day 2. If you're getting that little bit of red oak, you know what I mean. And today had a bit of a game changer. I decided I wasn't going to pull my guts out, you know, and then use the truck for pulling all those branches out. So I brought the Kubota, the MX 5400, and the grapple, and it's really paying off. I've added considerably to the pile from yesterday, and I'm getting a real good handle on getting everything cleaned up around that very first log over there. And obviously while moving brush around, pulling with the Kubota, I had no choice but to knock the logs off of where they were perched. But they landed right where I wanted whenever I cut them off yesterday. But now you can see a little bit better the underbelly. I'm gonna go ahead and trim off some of those nasty, whatever you wanna call those branches sticking out on there. Like I say, when I cut, I usually don't do that. I've already trimmed off a couple, but we're gonna get some more. But my brush pile now is getting considerable over there, and we're getting a little bit of access to the next big one down there. Unfortunately, in and around those branches that are snapped off, they've been kind of ground around in the dirt with the track hoe, and so I'm gonna have to spend a little time chopping the dirt and grit out of there before I stick my full 40 into that. As you can see all the activity over here, there's a tandem dump going down off the hill. There's a track hoe sitting there, and then a skid loader. And then here's a packer. There's a, well, you can't see it too good, but that's a roller down there. Compacting roller. I think that's a Vibra pack or something similar. Yeah, man, you can actually see daylight in between the two trees. And you can see that big old mansion back there in the back. But I still got to get back down in next to the woods and get the rest of those guys out of there. And that is a mumble jumble, man. I'm going to get this big one right here, the large branch right there, on the right side of that log. I'm gonna back into here, hook onto that, and drag that out right now. Well, guys, been here almost exactly 4 hours and made a pretty good showing. That doggone Kubota, man, that is a game changer. There's no doubt about it with that grapple. Now, I wanted to get those out from right over there by that fresh dirt, because those guys are actually shooting grade right in where the treetops were. So I got those treetops out of there, and now I've got this next log marked where I want to cut it, you know, for the sawmill. And these guys are over here are literally ready to go. And we got one heck of a good pile of pole wood now. Well, there ain't no saw logs in there, but there's some heating wood in there, and then there's pole wood down at the end, and then some of this mixture up here has got some pole wood in it as well. But yeah, all in all, this has been a very productive 4 hours, no doubt about it. I went ahead and cut off another nubbin after I knocked these guys over, so we're getting closer to being square. Or closer to being round, I should say. Then we're down there. I've got that stepped off at 16 foot. Right there, you see on the left-hand side of the screen, you see the beginning of a cut. I just marked that just in case my son or my son-in-law comes over without me. That'll let them know what my intentions are. And we'll get another saw log, small one, out of that end down there. But that's a good 16 down to 12, and that's gonna be kind of nice and fairly straight. I'm gonna see if I can live edge some of this guy here, get some weird looking table pieces or something like that. I don't know. Worst thing we do is turn it into firewood, you know. Hey guys, I'm going to give you a Tractorman 44 tip of the day. See this piece of 1.25" conduit right there? I keep a piece of that on every trailer so that I can stand on one side, hook the hook in the end of it, and just poke it right through this guy right here. It's always aggravating to find something to poke them through with, and your arm is never long enough, and the chain doubles up and binds itself, and it won't go. But yeah, we're loaded. Everything's strapped down. Ramps are sitting underneath the weight, and we're about ready to head south, guys. It's only about a 10-mile drive or so that's not bad. Hopefully the truck won't break down. I still got to get in there and ferret those guys out. Doggone it. But that'll go quick. This really is looking good over here, even if I have to say so myself. This is really cool. They're spending a lot of money to make this place really shine. There's no doubt about it. There's 143 acres right here. in the city limits, but just north of town. I don't know how many trees they put in there. Don't know how many feet between them, but it'll be many years before they touch, if they ever do. Nice long driveway. By the way, this is overlooking a beautiful view of the Mississippi River. Now I got to pay attention to driving, guys. Here we are, getting ready to load the very first one of that little bit of red oak. I think it's going to pick up just fine. He used my LX 865 and blew a curl cylinder on it as soon as he tried to curl it once he picked it up. So this Gehl is going to have no problem whatsoever. All right, go ahead and block it. Pull that loaded with no problem. Going back for the second one. This is going to be much lighter. The son-in-law went in and tribbed a couple more of those barnacles off of it. That's my son in the skid loader. Shouldn't have to worry about this one rolling off the trailer, but we'll block it anyway before we chain it. Try to get a little more centered on the trailer for front and back. Okay, I gotta go block it. Well guys, I show you what a difference a couple of other guys you have with you on the job will do, you know what I mean? My son's already got most of the larger branches and larger pole wood on the dump trailer here. Still got the small here. We might come back and get that with a small trailer, no big deal. But we got these guys trimmed out down here. So we're gonna try to drag them uphill just a little bit, make it a little easier to cut. And then we got that last big one, and then the top of the last big one over there yet. But as you can see in the distance, the first two large ones are on the trailer and ready to be bound down. Well, you know, like they say in the drag racing circuit, you know, there's no replacement for displacement, you know. Well, in the woods, there's no replacement for having a couple extra hands, you know what I mean? Well, my son snuck up the hill with that one right behind me while we were binding down the first load. I didn't even see him, wasn't paying any attention. But he's gonna go ahead and slip that on my trailer. Get a little light in the back end. But it's going. I've got to move my front block to the rear a little bit. I got to move the block. Not a bad looking load. I got to say so myself. Even though it's only two logs. It's pretty nice. We got a couple in here we cut out of the brush. Just a couple more down there he's picking out. And the rest of that downhill stuff is laying right up here. Cut that next week into a pile and haul that off too. So here's the first load. This is the largest in diameter, of course. Pretty nice. That's 36-inch across right here. And then right where we cut it off is where this part picks up right here. That's where my saw was trying to spiral cut with that 660. And of course we just tagged a little cedar on the side right there. Now that's a pretty good pile of the small cuts right there too for my son. He prefers that because he's got 4 little kids and he doesn't have a lot of time to spend in the wood pile. So this cuts down a lot of the splitting time. Cut this with a buzz saw, throw it straight in and season it, and it's ready to burn. Of course, you'll have to bust some of these bigger pieces once or twice with the splitter, but it's nothing like trying to bust up stuff that's 30-inch diameter.